Oh, I'm live. It's episode 169. It's 28th of February. It's the last day. It's the last day of February. It is 1st of March tomorrow. Busy week. I was hoping to say like the website and everything was up running, but it's not. I can't. I counted to 10. Getting instructions again. Be nice to the director, otherwise I don't get any pocket money, right? So, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Eid Mubarak as well for everybody. Nettie, I can see. How are you? Maso, alaikum salam. Who else have we got? Billy there. Billy did some toxic chocolates today. Happy days. We got Linda there and Jordan. Hello. Mike in Canada. I'm good. Thank you. The author, that is Ruth Kendrick. Oh, was it Eid? Oh no, did I say Eid? I'm sorry. Ramadan. I said Eid Mubarak. Well, no, we're not yet. It's not even day one. It's Ramadan Mubarak. I get nervous. I get nervous when I go like, I don't think I've ever been nervous in my life. So, the author that is, this is Ruth Kendrick. Philip Vieira, I think in Austria there. How are you? Purely complimentary. Well, I'm good, thank you. Hello. Good evening, Philip. Pretty fancy chocolates. Mariba's joining us. We haven't seen you for a while. I think you've been busy doing markets and just posting all those lovely chocolates because there is really, truly amazing. Isabel in Brazil. Gosh, got people over. Kalak saying, I just won silver for my chocolate bonbon in Glasgow, Scott Hot, and I used sassy cocoa butter for them. I couldn't have won without them. They're amazing shine and wonderful colour. It's very nice. I think you did all the hard work. I just kind of put some stuff together. But well done. Really, truly well done. Bridget's there. I haven't spoke to Bridget in a while. She shared some happy news earlier today. I think I see it's an engagement. I think it's an engagement, but congratulations. Paula there. Hi Paula, up in Ilkley. Madame Sucre is in summer in West Texas. Gosh, it's just chocky chats all over the planet, isn't it? My first ever competition, I won a silver with Kenneth. I know Kenneth. Kenneth's been here. Kenneth and I talk a lot. We got a meeting next week, Kenneth and I actually. He's a good guy. He's an incredible teacher, right? With an absolute ton of experience, and he's kind of been there, seen it, done it, and he's still doing it, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. Stuart, the blind chocolatier. Stuart posted some really nice stuff earlier. He was mixing purples and blues, and I think some of the blue pill. Very nice. So, yeah, it was. Bridget got engaged this week, so congratulations. Seren's going to come and do a crack out in a minute because she made some chocolates yesterday and she's just finished capping them. She's just capped them. I'm going to be showing off these. They're having dinner and I missed out, so I made those. Can everybody see the shine? These, for anybody that's on the subscription, these are double shelled, so it's got a dark chocolate layer and then we did a caramelized layer as well. And then I'm going to share that one off later in the week as well. So you'll get a post on how I did that and what we do and how we did it. And Seren did her own moulds yesterday. I think you saw the live. And then I took inspiration and painted my own ones and shelled them last night. And I shared that. I'm going to share that. It's on the subscription. I think I posted that earlier on the subscription, so you can see why we double shell, what's the reason for double shelling, what's the advantage of doing it, particularly when you've got bigger moulds. When you've got bigger moulds, you can use a 4-drop chocolate that gets into all the little nooks and crannies, but you would need to double or treble shell, right? So it was kind of how to do that. So Melissa's there. Melissa, Chef Melissa Root. We all know Melissa from the Netflix. She's got an obsession with lemons, right? More so than me, because I think lemons. Somebody asked me what's my favourite fruit. Lemons, hands down. I think it's the king of the kitchen. I think it does. We at no point is there less than kind of 10-15 lemons in our fridge. They're always available. Melissa's been doing I've been watching it this week, the stories where you do the proper candied lemons. So you got to scoop out all the fresh. And I remember doing this on a course, and we had to present them, and it was to do with work in the royal household, and like over that 5-day process of taking the lemons out, weighing the liquid, adding like 50% sugar to it, bringing it to the boil, laying that over the lemons again, pressing them under. And I think 4 of us are on the course. Mine were the only ones that worked, and I think everybody else is like, well, this is stupid. But actually, once you know how to do that kind of old school preserving lemons, and it's not like boil it in some stock syrup and hope it goes right. It's quite a slow process. It kind of takes 5 days, but it is absolutely worth it. So yeah, Melissa's been really interesting watching that this last few days. So love the eggs. Yeah, we like doing eggs. And do you know, Easter eggs are just there's a bit more real estate to play with. I think it's a bit like it's a bit like Halloween, right? You can go a little bit crazy, but with the eggs and the big love hearts, there's just a little bit more real estate to paint with. So you can go a bit more crazy. It's very difficult to get, like, if I was going to do that design in one of those, it's near impossible, right? Near impossible. We're not going to fill those. They were just for a demo. We're not going to fill them. I don't doubt for a moment that they won't be eaten though. So the draggy course, when I fit it in, partially videoed. We just got to do the rest of it, all right? So I've got it's got a little bit busy for us. It's got a little bit busy, and everything that we had planned to do. We wrote a diary of the year. What did we want to do? And as we get further in, we're at the end of February already, and it feels like we've been in the new year 2 minutes. And it only feels like 2 days since I last did Chocolate Chat, right? So Temptation Chocolates. They're in County Louth in Southern Ireland. Temptation Chocolates posts some incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible. How did I do the wonderful design on the eggs? It's a paintbrush. What I did earlier this week. I don't... let me show you. We've got a little painting set, and they're just nylon bristles. Nothing super special other than that they are nylon bristles, and it's a flat brush, and when you're painting with this, I tell you what you need to do. You need to temper each cocoa butter, and also you just need to warm the brush slightly. I think that is my greatest tip. What happens is people keep painting, and then because the end of this is cold, what happens is it all clumps up, so that when you paint, instead of getting nice streaks like that, you end up with this kind of lumpy mess, right? So here is Seren the chocolatier, and she is going to do
a cracker.
This better be 100%.
Yeah, I will do 100%.
Should we move the camera? She tapped them earlier today, so can I just let me move this backwards a little bit?
Yeah.
And let me just tilt this down, because we want this on camera. Let's put that there. Got a load of new mats and they're very sticky. Can I just show... Seren capped these earlier. Can I just show you the capping on there? Can you see the shine on that? Are you ready? Are you steady? No, yeah. You don't need to sit down. Are you ready? But you're going to hold it that way, and you're going to tip it that way forward, and then you're going to run off with them. But you need to keep hold of it. Is everybody... Are you ready? Are you steady? Go! Is it 100%?
Perfect!
Absolutely perfect. Do you want to show everybody what you made? How nice are those?
I did these ones.
They're stunning.
And these ones I also did, but I got a little bit of help from my dad.
You got a little bit of help for that one, because as we were making those ones,
we
made those ones.
These ones. So I was making another mold, but I haven't
Should we show everybody? Look at the quite stained pinkies from doing colours today. How good Seren's capping. If Seren can do it, everybody else can do it.
Everyone else can do it. It's not about. It's about technique and believing in yourself.
Absolutely, believe in yourself.
If you don't believe in yourself,
you'd never do anything, would you?
You'll never do, and you'll never get to this point.
Should we lift those aside so that I don't... What if I accidentally eat them? You tell everybody what's in them. they are almost sugarless, right? So we shelled with the bars. We shelled. It's an 84% chocolate, so really low sugar. And then we made hazelnut today, didn't we? We made a bowl of hazelnut today, which is kind of salty.
Hazelnut is not really hard to make if you know how to make it.
And then we did the whole hazelnuts, and then we did the 84% chocolate. So they're really nice. You're going to go and give one to your mum and sisters.
Always parents
so
first. Make sure that
3 each, right? Should we put them on this tray?
By the way.
So what we're doing, we're trying to work on doing chocolates that aren't quite as sweet, right?
Yeah. The best thing to do is make them savoury because they're less sugar and they're way tastier, which is way better.
Really good
so
paint.
cute.
You've got painting on the ends there. Look, go take those, share those out.
Yeah.
I might taste one.
By the way, I am doing another mould, but it took me hours.
Well, no, so Seren's got one more mould left to do, and it's Hello Kitty.
But it isn't turning out so great.
But it's got a lot of details. It's got a lot of details.
I need to do the ears, and I have to do the mouth for all of them.
It's a slow process, isn't it? Go nibble those.
It takes hours. Trust me, do not try it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Seren the chocolatier. That's a person that's taught me everything that I know, literally. And she was doing. We had a daddy-daughter chocolate day yesterday, and she wanted to. She found that painting set of brushes. I don't remember where I got this, but trust me, like there's nothing. They are just nylon bristled painting brushes. And I said, right, what design do you want to do? And it was instantly like, I want to use the new brushes that nobody's had before, mate. The ones that I was saving. Warm them, right? If they were just in your hand and warming up the bristles, it'd be warm enough. And what happens is, as you paint, it cools down. You end up like getting these horrible kind of smeared, lumpy marks. All right, so just go back and warm it every now and again, and don't load the brush up too much. When we were painting those, they were barely visible. So they are cool tricks. Very cool tricks. Question about the subscriptions. Tried to subscribe this week and it said it was not eligible. It was only open for specific type rate. Not that I'm aware of. There's been subscriptions this week. I don't know. I'll have a look once this is over. Yeah, I'll go and have a look. But yeah, there's no reason. Certainly, people have subscribed, and we're going to add more and more stuff to it. That's kind of mini classes, and then also answering questions. And people wanted some specific things, so we're just going to keep going with the subscriptions. I think it's fair to say that, like, it's not an area where I want to make money, so we're going to reinvest. You know, what we kind of make on the subscriptions, we're going to reinvest and do some things that people would find valuable, educational, and it's really around that teach, create, inspire, right? So it's not a money-making scheme by any means whatsoever. We're just going to put the resources back in, right? So, and run some other kind of bits and pieces that are happening with it. So, mind your temper. Hello. The feed keeps cutting out, does it? No, it's all good here. Last week you spoke about making lemon syrup. Can you go over it again? How would we account for the sugar in the caramel or PDF? Have citrus fruits coming up? No, it wasn't lemon syrup. It was lemon ash. You dehydrate. You roast or dehydrate the lemons until the point that they go past. They literally turn black. We got stages of video. Melissa showed a video as well this week. She just puts them in a low oven and they cook for a long time, 4 or 5 days. Not with the oven constantly on. If we've got the oven on, the lemons are in there. And when the oven goes off, residual heat continues cooking it. And eventually they dry out, desiccate, and they go brown. But it dries all the water off. When we drive all the water off citrus fruits, the skin in citrus fruit has got oil in it. So we can press the skin, but it's not very effective at getting those oils out, or it's not cost effective at all. If you dry them and you create an ash, what happens is it's really zesty. For those that have done it and know it, Absolutely stunning. But you can preserve lemons, you can candy lemons, you can juice them, you can freeze them, you can take the skin, you can zest the skin and freeze that. That's very good. Or you can make lemon ash, one of the things. But I don't think we talked about syrup last week. We were talking about orange in terms of making a very good orange puree. It's usable. It's usable to make PDF pâte frites with. But again, you just got to start. You need a refractometer. You need to kind of measure the sugar that's left in it. It depends on what variety of orange it is and how much fructose is in them. And we'd need to counteract that with glucose. Okay, otherwise we'll have a huge imbalance. In terms of lemon syrup, what we're lemon puree, orange puree. So we would put lemons or oranges whole. Everything, right? So you just take the little stalk nub off the end of it, and we would cook it in a stock syrup, which is equal amounts of water and sugar, and we'd let it bubble for kind of 4 or 5 hours, just with a little cartouche or a lid on, and they just end up floating, and they're completely soft. If you try and pick them up, your fingers will go through them. What we would do is lift all of that, pips, seeds, everything, absolutely the whole thing into a blender and blend it, and what you end up with is a very balanced puree. That's like, if you want the acidity of orange, you need the juice. If you want the flavour and the oils of orange, you need the skin. If you cooked the whole thing and pureed it, you get this really lovely balanced puree, which you could then either make into a fluid gel or you can incorporate into a pâte frite. But it's just it's an old-fashioned way of using the whole fruit rather than just like juicing it, which doesn't give you all the flavour, right? Let me Styling Chocolates. How are you, mate? I hope you're well, Andrew. Yeah, good capping. She did some good capping. Let me just go through Savoury Eats. But Seren's getting lots of Lily and Toby Day. Wow. If you don't, I said this, I was having a conversation earlier today with somebody. If we don't, like, I think the respect for food comes from sitting at the table together and like from the early age, right? And I think food's one of those things around the world. It brings people together. And food's central to, you know, when you celebrate, it's food, and when you commiserate, it's food, and it will pick you up, slow you. It does everything, right? It's kind of that fix, and it's common, I think, to all human beings. Like, we all love eating. Some have more food than others, I think it's fair to say, but for young children, palate, taste is learnt. Nobody's born with an amazing palate. You know, we have friends that come and stay here, and their kids don't like eating anything. When you quiz them and say, so what kind of happens at mealtime, and it's like, oh, we eat later, and they, you know, I think if you all sit together and the children see you enjoying it, it permeates, right? They love chocolate, they love cooking, they love buying ingredients. We go to the shop, we will select things, and they truly get excited by making stuff. And we do it, we're waiting for the wild garlic to come out so we can make big jars of pesto. We will make our own pesto. They like doing their own chocolate. Seren's done some cookies and things today. I selected a more expensive chocolate than I would prefer, but hey, get kids involved, right? Get children, grandchildren, young people, just get them involved in food, right? Because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. And adults, right? She's very courageous. She doesn't lack confidence. And they're nice, and she made them, and she's proud of them. So, that's Seren, the super chocolatier. Hi James, hope you're well. Did you say you're going to show Easter egg shells on the subscription? Yeah, I did. That went onto the subscription earlier today. I shelled, so these ones, some painting techniques will go up on the subscriptions in terms of, like, there's a couple of fun things. That one is a 4-part series, so that one's double shelled. If I break that one open, that one's double shelled. So it's a layer of dark followed by a layer, and they are nice and even all the way, right? That's the lowest part. That's about as thick as it gets, right? And the dark was a 64% Manjaro. It's really, really nice 4-drop. And then the chocolate gold, which is a solid 3-drop, right? So you can see the shell on the inside. So the subscriptions, yeah, that was a 4-part. I'm not trying to sell the subscriptions, but the people that got the subscriptions, that's a 4-part. It's a 4-part episode, and all of them are on there, and you can have a look at how we would do it, my thoughts, what we would do, why we would do it, how we would do it, and what things can go wrong, right? So, and I think the test is not how to do it, it's how to do it without it going wrong, right? So it's okay to make mistakes, you just need to know what and why it went wrong, right? And not get upset. You make a mistake, keep going. Just keep going. Linda there, Iron Chocolate. Who else have we got? Emma there. Emma's doing some amazing things. Linda's doing some amazing things. Linda's tuning in from 11,476 feet. Where are you then? You've got to be in the Sierras, surely, right? How do you cool a large amount of caramel? Split it into different bowls. Split it down into different bowls, or we will put it into like baking trays that have got greaseproof paper in. Caramel, when you take caramel, you know, if it's in a massive tall pan, it takes ages and ages and ages to cool down. We will very often split the caramel down into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these, especially where we're doing like 15. The pans that we've got, we bought specifically. I need for one of my contracts, I need 30 kilos. I don't know, it's 28, but we make 30 kilos. We'll split that down into 10 10 bowls, just to cool it really, really quickly, and then put it back into one big bowl and then chill it down from there. So yeah, don't leave it in the pan. What you don't want to do is put a massive pan into a fridge. Let me get rid of this. What you don't want to do is put a huge pan into a fridge and destroy your temperature in your fridge. So yeah, that's the way. I think the caramel that I've got on my page, where we do 200 cream, 200 sugar, it's a derivative of that. When we do smaller amounts, we'll still go through the same process, and we'll pour the caramel over the chocolate, blend that through the stick blender, and then get it into clean bowls as quickly as possible, and just get it cooling down at room temperature, so it's cool enough at like kind of 10-12 degrees. We'll wrap it over and put it in the fridge, and then once it is cold enough, we'll backpack it, the whole lot. So Chocolate Spicy, hello. Darren's there. Darren's with me this week. Good evening. How do I get my dip chocolates really thin? I was practicing for the competition. It was really hard to make them all even. So you can thin down your chocolate with, it depends, like if you're hand dipping chocolates and it's really thick, it'll be the chocolate that's thick. No amount of tapping is going to get more of it off there. Actually, what you'll end up with is all these kind of striation marks in it. Thin down the chocolate with some cocoa butter. A 4-drop chocolate's really nice to hand dip with. The other thing that you can do is use a 4-drop chocolate, and if you want a slightly thicker layer that's not claggy and cloying, what you can do is just rather than use it at kind of 30.5 degrees, is let it drop down to kind of 29.5 or 30. And I think the trick with you know what everybody does with dipping. A little baby spatula there. Once they've got that element on there, what they do is they start tapping it on the side, and that doesn't actually get rid of the chocolate. What you need is for that to actually touch the chocolate, and it's the chocolate in the bowl that's pulling the chocolate off, not you. It's not like a mould where we're tapping the chocolate out. It's actually the opposite. So you can hand dip them, whether it's on a fork or whether it's on a little palette knife, is actually use the chocolate. But yeah, use a 4-drop chocolate. Make sure what you're dipping isn't too cold, otherwise it sets too quickly, and then when you set it down you get feet on it, and it looks a little bit untidy. It's really just nailing the temperature of that chocolate. If you use the 4-drop chocolate a little bit cooler, you'll get a more refined layer, and then also when you set them down, whether it's on parchment or on silicone, you won't get so much of a foot coming off it, right? Leanne's there, how are you? Joining late, not at all. Oh, you're in the Rockies, nice. Using lustre dust and dumping chocolate out when shelling. Can the dumped chocolate be used without listing lustre dust as an ingredient? I don't think you need I don't think you'd need to declare that. I think it would just fully absorb in. Most, or certainly our lustre dust, they break down and disappear once you kind of get over 45 degrees. So whilst it will remain in the chocolate, it's so diluted that it kind of wouldn't be detectable. If you're putting loads, and particularly the gold, right? If you're putting loads and loads and loads in, you kind of want to tap some of it out a tiny bit. You don't. I was sent a video recently where somebody's just put so much gold glitter in, or certainly our one, that, I mean, when they've shelled, you can see all the bubbles. I think the challenge you've got with the silver and the gold specifically, not the bronze or the copper or any of those, because they're much smaller micron. With the gold and the silver, you want to dab it all in. Don't swirl lustre dust. Dab them all in, and if you need to, just tap them over as well, or give it a run on a cloth. But what you put into one hole, what you dab into one hole, you take across until it looks a little bit diluted, and then you dip your cloth and your little sponge and keep going again. I don't think you'd need to. I don't think it'd be detectable in terms of listing it as an ingredient. I don't think so. I mean, you know, it's no different to if you were spraying. I mean, we spray, and I like having a really clean surface, because I think it improves the capping, and we'll clean the moulds. Once we spray, we'll clean the moulds. Once we shell, we'll clean the moulds. And actually, that is a mould that we used on Monday on a class, or was that Wednesday we used it? That was a one from Monday. That mould's been used, and it's just ready to go again. It's just ready to use again. But I think, as I was saying, I think that, you know, it's no different to really, if you were spraying and you don't clean the surface, when you scrape that off, that goes into the chocolate, and you wouldn't necessarily declare that you've got coloured cocoa butters in the chocolate. It just gets absorbed in. So I treat it the same, with the same approach as you do the lustre dust. I think it'd be virtually undetectable. I've been asked to supply chocolates for a shop. They will box up to sell. It's like the hotel pillow chocolates. Just need to give them info, or does my info need to be on the packaging too? No, send them. It's wholesale. Send them an email. Ask them to send them an email of, this is the batch code. You know, this is the shelf life of the product. Behind that, you need to have your recipe. So this is a sugar I bought. This is the use by date. This is the, you know, the list of ingredients I used for that batch. And then when you send it to them, you need to list the colours, you need to list the chocolate, and you'd need to list all the ingredients that were in the filling, and the use by date and any allergen information. Send that to them, or email that to them, or I'd email it to them. Then I would also put a couple of folded sheets, so it's in there and on the box, right, little label on the box. And then get them to respond to say that they've received it, and then the onus is on them in terms of allergen controls, right? If they want to put allergens on there, big kitchens, big hotels, they will have all those facilities. If they're selling food, they're also got to be compliant, right? So I'll go down that route. No, it's wholesale, send it as one big go, right? If they're putting the boxes together as well, absolutely, you can't put the label on because you didn't put them in the boxes, right? So my day with you was the nuts, James. For anyone thinking of doing a one-to-one, it's well worth it. We've got lots booked. He had a really good day with Darren, and Darren's a veteran, so we got on like a house on fire right from the beginning. Although he was Navy, so but you know that's fine. Something has to be done now. He's going to be cursing at the screen now. The hands-on classes are the icing on the cake for me. I love teaching. I particularly like having students that have got a little bit of knowledge, lost their way a little bit, want to do a bit of, you know, people want to do different things when they come here. Some don't want to do airbrushing at all. Some would just want to do tempering and filling. Some want to do all of it, and we'll catch up on lots of different things. Every single class is different. Every single person that we've had come here to do a class, it's just been the most amazing day. I think anybody that's here on the live tonight that's ever done the hands-on class with me would agree that whilst we advertise it as an 8 to 9 hour day, it goes on and on and on. Most people stay locally, and it's like, well, do you know what, if you're not in a hurry, you might as well stay and have dinner. So we're trying to create a class that's like an unforgettable experience, because I think it's about that teach, create, inspire. I think you should leave here and go, right, I just want to go home and make chocolate now. Like it should really put a spring in your step. And I think for the whole, we do that. Is it 6 to 8? Is it? Oh, it's always more than that. Mr. So Sassy told me. Yes, tapping in the chocolate to pull the chocolate off. I'll try adding more cocoa butter. We use silk to temper the chocolate and place them on acetate. I would just, you know, if you're tempering with silk, I would just get the temperature a little bit lower. If you've got a 3-drop chocolate that you want to make 4-drop, you want to add 60 to 70 kilos, so 60 to 70 grams per kilo. So I'd start with 60 and have a look at that fluidity. You can dip you can dip one of those in and tap it just to see how it forms that level, because you kind of want it to be nice and you don't want it to be domed, that chocolate, because that's what causes you problems. When you get to any edges that you're dipping, those edges will be thin, and what you want is just a perfectly flat surface, right? A common fault with dipping, we certainly see that in competition more, where the chocolate's thick and they've over tapped. So where they've capped a square, those corners are really, really thin and you can almost see the filling, and then the top's domed slightly. If you just thin that chocolate down a little bit, and don't tap so much, but use the chocolate underneath to pull that layer, you'll get a much more even spread. And then I think if you're putting down onto acetate, you just can't be in a hurry. I think hand dipping takes time. If you're trying to present something for a competition, you're not doing thousands of pieces. You just want to slow down what you're doing and be much more measured in one single piece done perfectly, put it aside, then get to the next one and make sure that you reset, rewarm, restir, tap bubbles out, all that kind of thing, right? Would I recommend using a 5-drop chocolate for dipping? Probably not. I think 5-drop is really at that extreme. You probably need to dip twice to get a good enough layer. Like I said, depends what chocolate, you know. If you've got a really, really heavy, you've got a milk chocolate that's 5-drop, it would be very, very thin and maybe not as see-through. Whereas the dark really shows through. And if you're hand dipping, you know, a 5-drop white chocolate, God, that'd be impossible, wouldn't it? It'd just be like dripping off everywhere. Even when you put it on the acetate, you'd have this big like elephant foot underneath it, right? So if you are, so Evelyn, if you are putting them into bags, you would put the label on the back, without doubt, right? Of course you would. So Bruce is saying dinner was fantastic. There's people that are like, well, I'm just going to come back and have dinner again. It's like, all right, don't worry about the course. Why don't you just come back and have dinner? Oh, Paula, always welcome. What is the size of nozzle sprayer suitable for chocolate? For spraying chocolate, you can get chocolate. Do you mean chocolate or cocoa butter? You're not going to be able to spray cocoa butter through. You're not going to be able to spray chocolate through a 0.8 needle like this, because there isn't enough pressure behind. So we can set the pressure at 55, but there isn't enough volume to force that through. By the time it probably just wouldn't go through. You'd need to really thin the chocolate down. Generally speaking, it's kind of 2/3 cocoa butter to 1/3 chocolate. So it'd be very distorted flavour. 0.8 is what I recommend for most beginners, and when you know, it's nice having a 0.5 needle when you want to do a bit more refined, detailed work, and it's very small amounts. But generally speaking, a 0.8 is more than enough. 0.7 is good. 0.9 is okay. I wouldn't go up to a 1mm needle, just because a 1mm needle is just going to flush so much through. You're going to have so much overspray that, whilst you might be able to spray the mould, your trick is going to be recovering that cocoa butter, because it's just going to be leaking out everywhere. 1 mil is quite a challenge to hold on to. 1 mil is quite, you know, for 1 mil you're going to need a bigger. Generally find 1 mils are trigger guns, which are, as soon as you pull the trigger, you get cocoa butter, and they're not very good at being able to limit down, right? Not very good at being able to limit down. Do you have any favourite colours of cocoa butter? That's like, no. That's like asking which is your favourite child. I love all of them. I gravitate towards some more than others. I love using red galaxy, blue galaxy, silver green sheen. I love purple shimmer. I love. Do you know, I was mixing Caramelita today, and I just realised that I need to use that more. And then lilac is a new one that we, you know, leaf. All of them. I can't pick a favourite. I like all of them. I like all of them. I like all of them. So I design them for me. Do you know, I make them for me. So if I like them, I kind of hope that you guys like them. And I think that, you know, based on how much we've grown in the last couple of years, I think everybody else likes them as well. Hard for me to pick a favourite. It's really, really tough to pick a favourite. Yeah, I couldn't. And it changes as well, you know. I was doing, so in the workshop I had to make a big top up of Blue Pearl, and I just realised that I've got none in the melter. I've not done with any students recently, and it's, you know, Blue Pearl, I just think it's one of those fascinating colours that you can get it to do other bits and pieces, alright? So you can use it to back things, you can use it to you know, break other colours up. So leaf green similar to tennis ball, yeah, close. I think Stolworth is probably closer to the tennis ball colour. Stolworth is probably closer. Leaf green is really bright green. Okay, I think tennis balls are more yellow, aren't they? More yellows than they are green. Depends if you're playing at Wimbledon or down the road, right? Next week I've got a young lady on the chat with me next week. Just let you all know, it's Kerry from Easy Tempers joining me next week. We're going to be talking about silk. We're going to talk about this machine. We're going to talk about the history of where did it start. Easy Temper silk. She's a pharmacist, or a chemist, I should say. So we're going to get the whole lowdown on Easy Temper next week. And it wasn't like flogging the product. It was like, I'm interested in where did it start, where did it come from, and you know. And there's been variations of that machine over the years, and it's been around a while, right? So, you know, that's next week. Trying to think what else is going on. Websites, we're hoping, with a little bit of a delay. Shipping. Drake Bakes, how are you? Let's send some waves out. Yeah, I think Paul has just answered it there, Alice. I think Stolworth is probably closer to the tennis ball than leaf green. Leaf green is really bright grass green, fresh green colour, right? I was using Deep Space for one of my chocolates and thought it was fantastic with all the glitter. Deep Space is an interesting one because it's got red in it as well, right? Like the Galaxy. We took a picture of the Galaxy and said, right, let's get all those colours if we can and put those. We didn't just do black and throw some glitter in it. Actually, it's quite specifically measured, that one. I love Sophia's chocolates, ate them all. The box just had allergens with details of ingredients inside. Would like to do the same for my chocolate box, but not shop. Yeah, you can do that. You've got to declare all your... that was... The reason we don't put them on the packet is it's sold in a box. So you'd have to open the box and read the sheet before you got to the chocolates, right? Whereas the boxes are inside the box, so there's an allergen information on the outside of the box that we do, but the actual specific sheet, yeah, is there when you open the box, right? What colour can I use to back up my colours other than white? Can't find white colour powder anywhere. Depends what's available to you. You can, like, if titanium's not allowed, any of the Type C colours. So it depends. It's very difficult to get opacity without using a white or a titanium-free white. Not much in it for me. We do an awful lot of this one, but it's not. We called it not quite white, obviously. In terms of what else can you use, you can shell in white chocolate. You know, you can back spray with gold, you can back spray with a bronze, or you're kind of limited there, maybe a silver. Blue pearl is a good one. It depends what you're trying to look for. You know, if I sprayed red, I mean, it's one of the tricks that we do. The Caramelita, we spray the Rari red, and because it's Rari red or forest green, and even the midnight blue, if we spray any of those, we can back them with white to get it very, very bright. But if we backed it with Caramelita, it almost does the same thing. It's just one or two shades off being really, really bright, but actually it gives you the opacity, so the dark chocolate behind doesn't. So the Caramelita is a good one for us. But Linda, I don't know what's available where you are, so yeah. Easy temper not shipping to US at this time. Can't wait to find out when shipping might resume. Don't know about that. If your product is repacked, the ingredients and allergens have to be on the outside of the box. Pre-packed. Yeah. If they're pre-packed for direct selling, as in somebody else is selling them on, then the label would need to be on the outside, because that's what direct selling is. The alternative, which is what we do, which is distance selling, different point of law. Where are my boxes? I don't know where they've gone. Where are they? So we do distance selling. So the box will pre-packaged, the label will be on the inside, and it's closed, and it's going to an individual customer. Okay, and it's sealed with another. So there's a difference, I think, between direct selling and distance selling in terms of the allergen information. What I would say is both have still got to have all the information available, but if it's pre-packaged and it went to a shop, the label would need to be on the outside, so that the person selling it to them, if they're asked, they can then say, yeah, the label's on the back, right? Whereas if I'm direct selling, that customer can come back to me if they've got any questions, right? Hashim Zeh, walaikum salam. Apparently very, very cold in Bahrain right now. Ramadan Mubarak. Is there any difference or an advantage to using silk from Easy Temper or from Great Silk Block? They're the same thing, it's just that silk is in a liquid format, so it blends in very, very quickly. I will add silk in at 32.5, 33. Blend it in very, very quickly, and it's literally ready to use within kind of 30 seconds. I think the challenge you have with the silk or micro is how finely, like if you grate it really, really big chunks, you're going to struggle to blend it in, whereas we don't have that problem with silk. I don't have any silk available in here at the minute because we've used it all, but they both do the same job. Silk is a little bit easier, but obviously if you don't have the machine, then grating it in, it depends how hard you grate it. And I know people had challenges with the micro because some of those little lumps will not blend in. So you've got to warm your chocolate, and when you warm the chocolate, you damage the beta crystal. So you're causing a problem by trying to find a solution, and that's not always ideal. But silk's a different product in a liquid format, right? So it just blends in, it disappears almost instantly, and it's ready to go. And I think that silk is a little bit easier to weigh, in my opinion. Where we're doing, we won't use it on the small bottles. When we're doing kind of this size, we'll empty a little bit out, put the kind of 0.5 gram in there, and just give it a really, really good shake. And when we're happy that that's blended in, obviously we'll do it at 33. We'll put the extra back in, and then give it a really, really good mix, and it's kind of ready to go. But I can use it at 31, 32, rather than dropping it all the way down. Silk has its advantages, without a doubt. Can't imagine it's freezing in Bahrain. It's nice and warm with ours, though. Sun was out here today for everybody in the UK, wasn't it? It's a lovely day. Chef, do we freeze fresh make ganache right away, or should we wait 12? No, freeze it straight away. It's not. You don't need to wait for it to. I'd get it in Ziploc bags, lay it flat, or Ziploc bags or backpack, lay it flat. because you've got to rewarm it and re-emulsify it when you defrost it, right? So no, you don't need to wait 24 hours. You're not waiting for it to crystallize. You're going to put it in the freezer, in which case it's going to set solid, right? Did I miss a question? No, I didn't. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back. How fast do these Chocy chats come round? It's the end of February. It's March tomorrow. We've got first day of Ramadan tomorrow. Then we got, for everybody else, I think in the UK, maybe Europe, I don't know, rest of the world, we got Easter on the 20th, I think. Is it Easter? No, I think it's Mother's Day, and then in April it's Easter. But it's all, you know, it's all squashed into 1 month, isn't it? All well and truly squashed into 1 month. Well, I don't think that's it for you. I think, you know, I'd certainly been talking to a lot of people, and despite the difficulties with pricing and chocolate, here's something I got asked about. So earlier in the week, somebody sent me a message and said, "Am I going to do the Dubai chocolate bars?" Right? And I have. Like, I love the ones that people are doing, but like, here's my twist on it, okay? And some people have had really, really great success with it. But here's the thing: no time in memory have I known the price of cocoa commodity be as absolutely as high as it is. And what's happened is we've got this viral trend of making this bar, right? That is literally the size of that. They're huge, right? They're massive. So we've got bars that are 4 times the size that we would normally make, and then what we're putting into it is pistachio, which has always been highly priced. So then we're charging more and more and more, and it just doesn't make sense to me that we've jumped on a trend in a time where economically it's just really, really difficult for some people to make money, but then they feel like they have to jump on a trend that's actually forcing them to make chocolate that's 4 times bigger with an ingredient that's not diluted in any way, because we're just using a pistachio paste and then folding in the toasted kanafe. So there isn't great yield from it at all. And then everybody's going out and buying a bar. So whilst I won't be doing them, because I just don't think economically I've got that customer base, the other thing is, I don't want to be making things 4 times bigger than I need to in a time when it's very difficult to make money in chocolate, and then also going into, and it's, you know, is the trend going to finish or not? I don't really jump on trends, kind of do my own thing. I've always done my own thing. I will always do my own thing. If you're following that, absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm successfully selling 3 packets of mini bars. Do the Dubai bar, do it in your own sizes, do it in bonbons, do it in the sizes, do it in the packaging that you've got. You don't need to go out and buy these gigantic bars. They are like friggin' house bricks. They are that deep, and they are that, you know, and the only person that's making any money is the person selling you the mould, or the company that's selling you the pistachios at an extortionate rate. So, and good pistachios are going to cost you around about £90 a kilo, right? For the good, really, really bright green ones. You'd be lucky to get them at £90 a kilo, good ones. Well done, Michelle, if you're selling, happy days. Any advice on making Ferrero Rocher filling from scratch? Not something I eat. No. It's hazelnut, isn't it? It's hazelnut with a hazelnut in it, right? And then the outside, I think, is it not nibbed? Is it not nibbed almonds dipped? So you're doing this. You got a hazelnut covered in a hazelnut gandulia, I think, and then there's a crisp shell which you can't manufacture. You need to just kind of roll it in that bit into fouilletine, and then dip that in a chocolate that's got nibbed almonds put into it. I'd have a look at those, Linda. I'd have a look at those, the elements that go into it, and duplicate your own. Right, just try and get as close to it as you can. I think if you buy some and cut them in half, you can't mimic it completely, because that crisp sphere that's in the middle, very, very bespoke, and you won't be able to buy them. Nobody can buy them. They make them. So cut one open and have a look. I think it's really, really straightforward. It's not something I eat a lot of. I had a few over the years, so. Yeah, Philip, totally agree. But for some people it's worked, and I'm not bad-mouthing it. For some people it's worked, and if you've got a retail shop, it's probably quite an easy sell. It's probably quite an easy sell. I don't know where I was a couple of days ago, and literally on the counter, it's got Dubai bar, and it was 45 grams, which is tiny. And I looked at the ingredients, and nowhere did it say kanafe, and then it had white chocolate in it, and it had glucose in it, and it had there was another product in there. And it's like it's just a version of, we'll have a crack at doing this, right? I think if you've got a retail shop and you've got footfall through it, it's probably really, really good. My only words of advice, I think, is just be very, very careful, because I've seen some that are literally 250, 300, 400 grams, which is an obscene amount when the cost of chocolate is as it is, right? And then we're going to put premium pistachio in it, right? Let me scroll back. I would do, Linda, I'd just do a standard chocolate ganache. I think the nice thing about that is that the Ferrero Rocher is that it's round. So the two baskets are filled with the ganache and the hazelnuts put in, and those two are married together, which gives you that sphere. Then it's dipped, right, which gives you those interesting layers. It's the centre that makes it a bit more interesting, I think. So if I missed that, it keeps jumping. It keeps jumping. I've got to scroll all the way back now. I've got to scroll all the way back. So everybody gone quiet? Everybody's gone quiet. Everybody's gone quiet. Let me have a look and see if there's any questions. Everybody's gone quiet. What's everybody gone quiet? I've run out of things to say. I've never run out of things to say. The girls were going to come in, but then they went to the door and then they've run off again. Seren, did you try your chocolate? Should cut one in half. Can I cut one in half?
Yeah.
Nailed it. Shall we try?
Mm-hmm.
Is it nice? You already eaten yours?
I just had mine.
That's so nice. Do you know what we did?
Next level.
That's really nice, isn't it? It's not even sweet, is it?
Yeah.
Quite savoury. We do 70%. We do 70% hazelnut to 30% chocolate. That's the one that we shelled yesterday. The mixed one, right? It's kind of like Kinder Egg, but not the white chocolate. We did adult type chocolate, right?
Why'd you bring
Here we go. Got a couple of questions. 1 second. Can we talk big Easter eggs? Haven't done them. Do people want empty ones or filled with something? If filled, what do you fill it with? Interesting question. That. Why have you just done that? Interesting question. That one. So the large eggs. There's a trend to shell them, and then once it's gone through that dull stage, spread it with caramel, and then back that with chocolate, so you kind of get that layer. That's one. Filling them is a challenge because it's the packaging, and you don't want to marry the two together. You kind of want to put a ribbon behind it, but you can fill it with whatever you want. It would just need to be in a cellophane bag, otherwise it's going to make a mess everywhere. I don't know what people do, that whether they want them filled. I think you have to do a range and offer different things, or it's quite a challenge. Kelly, I do a shout out to, I do a post on your page saying, Easter eggs, what do you want? Do you want them filled? you want them filled with truffles? Do you want them filled with bonbons? Do you want them empty? Do you want them hollow? Do you want them smashable? Do you want them caramel filled and layered? Go ask the question. What do your customers want? Right, that's the number one thing. Paula's saying she does truffles with hazelnut gandouille inside, rolled in chopped hazelnuts. People call them my version of Ferrero Rocher. Absolutely, if it works, make things that people recognise, right? Make things that people recognise. People like hazelnut. People that are loud nuts, they eat hazelnut. So, if you want to turn 811 to a 4-drop, does it make a difference if I use micro or cocoa butter pellets? Micro would be a very expensive way of doing it. Micro would be a very expensive way of doing it. I would do cocoa butter. Start, if you got a 3-drop and you measure a kilo of chocolate and you know it's a 3-drop, start with 60 grams of cocoa butter melted in there, and then just have a look at that and get a feel whether that's, you know, a little bit nicer. And do upwards. 7% of cocoa butter generally will take it from a 3-drop to a 4-drop for the majority. So, gold glitter does seem to stick to the mould versus the red chrome. Am I doing something to make that happen? Do you mean it doesn't or does? I've never had a problem. We showed that's got glitter all, that's got the gold glitter all over it because I had to open a brand new one. No, it just might be that you're swirling it or you're tapping it out. I got this question again recently, and it was like they dabbed the gold in there, and then when they back sprayed, all the gold left. Well, you don't want to, you don't want to use so much gold glitter that it could be the mold, could be static. I'd have thought static helps it stick in. Red chrome is a much finer micron and binds to polycarbonate a little bit nicer. The glitter will not work in plastic molds. You need polycarbonate. You absolutely need polycarbonate. You'll find it if you try and do it into plastic, like PET type molds, it's not going to stick. But no, I don't think there's anything you're doing wrong. I'll test some tomorrow. It's not something off the top of my head. I'll test some tomorrow. I'll do a photo shoot tomorrow. Gold glitter doesn't. I've never, Bruce, I've never had a major problem with that. So I tried your whole lemon method for making a puree, and it was, yeah. Melissa, that is proper old school. I think that was from a book in the late 1800s, right? And it was just called lemon puree. And the next recipe was orange puree, and it's like boil some lemons in sugar water for 4 hours and then put them through a ricer. Do you know the old handheld? And then put it back on the stove and cook out any moisture that's left in there, and it'll give you a lovely lemon puree that you can pipe on desserts or jellies. Also, that book didn't have temperatures. It was like put into a hot oven, put into a medium oven. There were 0 temperatures at all. Yeah, have a look at. I don't know with the gold glitter. Top of my head, never had a major problem with it. And we do use it a lot, and we have shelled a lot with it. We've done tests and what have you. So, could be that you're tapping too much of it out, or you're putting so much in there that it's getting stuck to the sponge. You're using a sponge, or using a brush, or yeah, could be many things, right? I'm going to use a whole hazelnut in the middle next time, just like a Rocher means rock. It'll make it cheaper too. We put whole hazelnuts into things because it gives me more yield, right? So generally I will use a third less. We only made 150 grams of gandouille to fill that mould. Wherever the mould, they took the mould already, and there's still a bit left over. So. Did you say that you backed Lustre dust with cocoa butter? I thought it would. No, I don't. No, I had somebody message me saying, whenever I try and back spray Lustre dust, it all blows out. And my only answer was, well, then don't back spray. You don't need to, right? Yeah, same thing, Melissa. I see people struggle with Lustre dust when they use too much. I think that put a little bit on your sponge and do 1 or 2, and when you see it a little bit diluted, then you go back and get a little bit more. And very often we'll do the whole mould and then go back over and just kind of punch through to get some of that. What I don't want to do is turn it over, tap, and you see dust all over the place. So currently obsessed with the Blue Pearl Lustre Dust. Agree, just a little required. It's such an entrancing colour. The lovely thing about the Lustre Dust is there's no I've talked about this before, that not all brands are the same, and there's no bulking agent in ours, so there's no rice flake or rice flour or other bits and pieces in there, so it is pure silicate mica, and it goes a long way, and because it's very, very pure and very, very small, you can just shell. It gives you great opacity, really easy to use, and it goes a long way. They've got, I think they've got a 2-year shelf life on them. I'll be amazed if you are able to use that within that 2 years. So, excuse me, goes a long way. So, we are late, but yeah, I'm just going now. It's 9:30. I'm going to. Wait. I've got to do a photo shoot tomorrow. I've got chocolates to eat. I've got these to eat, which Seren is going to let me have. What else is going on? We're fully stocked with butters. The classes are back on. I've got lots of schedule for next week. I will let everybody know what's happening in terms of the website, because we're just waiting for that to launch any day, absolutely any day. What else? Ramadan Mubarak. Be nice to everybody. World's flexing its muscles again, isn't it? Although men in suits, right? Who knows? I think most people just want to kind of go to work, make some money, go home, look after their families, and enjoy some quiet time. Make sure you stay in touch with your customers, right? Because Easter's around the corner. Different sales opportunities. If you're not sure what they want, go and ask them. All right. Most people will come back to you and say, "Is there any chance of this or this or this?" And that's where you get your ideas from. We didn't come up with all these colours. These came from people saying, "Is there any chance you could do this?" That's a good business model. Go and talk to your customers, right? Have a good week. I'll see you in about 45 minutes for Chocy Chat 170. Next week we've got Kerry from Easy Temper next week, so look out for that one. This should be a good chat. We've got some more guests as well lined up over the next few weeks. So have a nice week. I will see everybody real soon.